So, today we're jumping into a really powerful memoir called Mind Without a Home by Kristina Morgan. And wow, is it a journey? It's this raw, totally unflinching look at schizophrenia, at addiction, and really the long, hard road of finding your way back to yourself. The thing that really grabs you about this story is where it begins. It's not this slow, creeping illness. Nope. It's a sudden, absolute collapse. Just imagine this. Kristina Morgan is 29 years old. She's got 11 years of sobriety under her belt, and then boom, a heavy cloud just drops on her head. Her mind is suddenly flooded with voices, with visions, and the life she worked so hard to build just shatters. All right, so we're going to follow the path laid out in her memoir. We'll start by looking at the world of women who really shaped her, then we'll walk through the transitions of her youth, the absolutely terrifying descent into psychosis, and finally, the path she took to reclaim her own mind and her life.
Okay, first up, the world of women. To really get Christina's story, you have to start with her world. I mean, she dedicates the book to her mother and her grandmothers. That tells you right from the get-go that her life was fundamentally shaped by the women in it.
And these relationships were, well, they were everything. You have her mother, Hannah, and her sisters, Rose and Hunter, who were all kind of wrestling with their own demons. These relationships were her foundation. Her grandmothers gave her that crucial care early on, but through it all, you can feel this constant search for connection, for belonging, especially with other women, and that theme just keeps coming up again and again.
So that foundation leads us into a life that was just packed with transition and instability. And what's so powerful is how the physical instability of her youth, all the moving around, was this perfect mirror for the internal turmoil that was brewing just under the surface. It's this pattern of searching for a place to finally land, and that really defines her struggle for years.
Her early life was honestly a whirlwind. She's with her grandparents for the first 5 years. She has this brief modeling career that gets cut short when the family moves, and then she finds herself battling alcoholism as a teenager. But here's the thing, and this is a huge deal. She gets sober at just 18. I mean, that's a monumental achievement, right? And it's what allowed her to build a life, to go to college, and to find a real community.
And this quote right here, it says so much. Getting sober gave her this brand new lens to see her own pass through. For the first time, she could make sense of it. But even with all that newfound clarity, there was a much deeper battle still waiting in the wings, one she didn't even have a name for yet. Sobriety helped her understand her past, but it couldn't possibly prepare her for the war that was coming. And that brings us to the absolute heart of this memoir, the sudden, complete descent into psychosis. This is where the line between what's real and what's a hallucination just completely dissolves. It's harrowing. So you see the clinical definition here, right? Delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech. It gives us the medical framework. But what does that actually feel like from the inside? I mean, how does your own mind become a home for things that nobody else can see or hear?
For Kristina, the illness showed up as voices she called the suits. And this quote, wow, it's just so chilling because it shows you how psychosis can offer this twisted kind of acceptance. The suits told her, we'll accept you, weirdness and all, while at the very same time they were commanding her to self-destruct, pulling her further and further away from anyone who actually loved her. And the crisis just escalated with terrifying speed. In just 3 months, she overdosed 7 times. 7. She even writes that the ICU attendants were getting sick and tired of bringing me back. I mean, that's not just a number. It's a stark, painful measure of how desperate she was to escape her own mind.
The breaking point finally came during a therapy session. In this moment of intense self-destruction, she harms herself with a razor blade. Her therapist has no choice but to call the police. She was handcuffed, taken to a hospital, and then involuntarily committed. She had lost all control. Everything. And the one place that was supposed to be for safety, it just became another prison. Her own words paint this picture of complete desolation. She's confined, she's medicated, she's isolated, and she feels pushed to the absolute edge of existence. Her own name, she said, felt like a rusted wrench. Just imagine that.
So, how do you come back from that? How do you come back from the sharp edge of the earth? This next part is all about that slow, difficult process of reclamation, of fighting to find her way back home to her own mind.
Look, recovery wasn't some single aha moment. It was built piece by piece on these really crucial pillars. First, she recommitted to the 12-step program that had already saved her once. She found this incredible therapeutic outlet in art, and so critically, she had the unwavering support of her friends and her life partner, Guy, who just refused to let her disappear.
And through that whole journey, she didn't just find stability. She found this profound new perspective on life. This quote just captures that transformation so beautifully. The idea of finding light in the darkest of shadows and feeling this connection to the world and to herself, realizing she was never, ever truly alone. All right, so after this incredible, unbelievable journey of descent and reclamation, where is Kristina Morgan today? What does a life reclaimed from the very depths of severe mental illness actually look like?
Her life now is really a testament to her resilience. She lives a stable, fulfilling life in Scottsdale with her partner and their 2 dogs. She's a published poet. She holds an MFA from Arizona State University, and she works at the Phoenix Public Library, giving back to her community. It's this quiet, beautiful, hard-won resolution.
You know, in the end, Kristina Morgan's memoir does so much more than just tell a story. It really forces us to confront the reality of mental illness, not just as a clinical diagnosis on a chart, but as a deeply, deeply human experience. It asks us to think about the immense courage it takes, not just to survive, but to build a home inside a mind that once felt so terrifyingly alien.